There's a lot of things on the internet I don't believe like can happen to me, especially working at a Dollar General. Um, like one of my coworkers completely freaking out on a customer or just a Karen coming into the store. I've had some people come into the store just like, I need this, I need that, discount this, discount that. But I actually had a Karen that came into the store last night and she actually pissed me off. And I experienced the Karen phenomena. It's really, really upsetting, like experiencing it in real life. It's funny to see on the internet. But in real life, it is fucking just the most annoying thing ever. Because it's like, if she gets her way, do I have a job tomorrow? Kind of thing. And here's why I say that. Because what this woman was doing is really put just me and my coworker's job in jeopardy. Just because, you know, she wanted the little attention. I don't know. It's just like, I just can't explain when you're 60 years old, 60 plus years old, and you crave attention, so you just come to a Dollar General and you just complain. So here's my experience with a Karen. It happened last night, or on the 22nd, whenever this video gets out, and it was around 9:55, and we closed at 10. We had a couple stragglers who came in late because people for some reason just decided to come to a store or anywhere at almost 10 o'clock. So we had those people in there that night. She came in, she was one of the last with them too, and she went to the like hair care aisle. And for reference, so this story can make sense, my register is close to the door. The hair care aisle, I can't see down that aisle, but like if you make noise or like drop something or you yell, I'll know where you are because it's not far. Like it's definitely not out of earshot. So my manager is stocking. I'm at the register getting like the last 5 people out. And note right now it's 9:55, and this should be just like ring her up, ring him up, get him in, get him out of here, get her out of here, and we're done for the night. I clean up, she counts, I go home. But I'm ringing out this customer. She comes in fairly often, not the woman who I'm talking about in the story, but she comes in really like fairly often. We talk a little bit, and this woman comes from the hair care aisle just saying, "Did you not hear me fall?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." And she was like, "Well, I fell and I was yelling and I was screaming for help." And I was like, what? I was jaded as fuck because I had a long fucking day. Like the day before I worked a pretty much 10.5-hour shift. Next day I worked like a 7. So I'm just out here just like, please stop. I just want to go home. So she fell, and allegedly she fell, because this is what she came and told me. She said, "I fell, I was screaming and hollering and no one came to check on me. Like, where's your manager this? Where's your manager that?" And I was like, no fucking way this is happening. It is 9. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's 9:55, bro. Just chill out. And she was like, "I fell. I twisted my ankle on this box right there, and this, that, and the third. I'm completely hurt, and I needed an accident form. How do I do an accident form?" And she asked for an accident form. I didn't know what the fuck that was, to keep it a buck. And so I just gave her some not copy paper, but I gave her, let me think. I gave her some like a receipt, like a blank receipt, about 8 inches of it. And she started writing it down. She went out the line, started writing what happened down. I rang up someone else, got them out of here. And she was like, I can't fit all this on here. It's too small." And I'm like, understandable. It's a receipt. Like, I thought you were just gonna put your number on there and be like, "Hey, I fell." But no, she was writing this long fucking essay about what particular brand hit her, how many steps she stumbled back, what she fell on, what specific angles she fell at. Just a long fucking essay. But let me stop. I'm giving her way too much credit. She's like 60 years old and she writes like a 3rd grader. Like, when I looked at the receipt she gave me, it was really it was, oh god, it was in I can't even say the word. It was bad. It was fucking shitty. It looked like a young ass child just got upset and just started scribbling on paper. And she was like, this isn't enough, and I need a bigger sheet of paper. And I was like, all right. And she was like, what's your name? What's your name tag? I'm like, my name tag's in my pocket. Because I took it off when I went on break, because it was like, oh, I don't want to get fucking bell peppers on my fucking name tag and dirty that shit up, because you know I went to Subway. So I put it in my pocket, left it in my pocket, and it was over with. And she was like, so you don't know, you don't have your name tag, you're refusing to tell me your name? And this is before I could tell her, like, oh, my name is Jonathan. Like, I was about to tell her that. And she was like, no, you're not even going to tell me your name. At least you'll give me a sheet of copy paper. And I walked back to the back, and I just sat there, bro. Because I was like, this shit's not happening. I look at my phone, it's 10 o'clock. So it's time to go home. And I get a piece of paper and I come back. He's just like, it took you that long to get me a piece of copy paper? And I was like, I had to open the tray, which took little to no effort. I just sat there and just put my hands in my head and contemplated fucking life, unplugging myself after work. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, you're not. So she what did she do? She wrote down, she went over to another table and she started writing down like her complaints, and I started going over and just bringing people out, because at this time we had 3 more people come to the store for some, not 3 more people, we had 3 more people left in the store. And after that, I got one out, and then she came back, and the first thing I saw on that sheet was black and rude. And this isn't me just fishing for fucking like, oh, this is racist, this is terrible, like can't cancel her. And it's just like, you know how bad that looks, right? When you just put black and rude. Like, you could have just said employee didn't have his name tag and was being rude. But you know, word choices matter, man. And I looked over it, and it was literally chicken scratch. I will find the video I put on my story showing the picture. Like, it's literally one of the worst things ever. Like, it is illegible. You just can't read it. And my manager comes over because she hears the fuss, and she's like, where were you? Where have you been? And she was like, what the fuck do you mean? And she was like, where have you been? I fell. I was screaming and hollering. Your employee is being rude. Oh, no. Let me back up, because that didn't happen yet. That didn't happen. Let me back up. I'm telling the story too fast. So when I gave her the paper, she started writing her shit down. And she was like, where's your manager? I was like, she's either in the back getting shit out for tomorrow, or she's just stocking. And in her mind, that kind of pissed her off. Not even kind of pissed her off, because what she did next, I should have fucking put an elbow in her throat, because I had the right to. Because the next thing she did was, she was like, well, I'm gonna find her myself. What she did was walk behind the register. Not even walk, she pretty much ran behind the register and almost ran into the employee's office, which is a big no-no. Because, you know, if I felt threatened or startled and I would have, you know, punched her, nothing really would have happened. I would have been like, she's in my space, like, you can't be back here. And it took her friend or whatever, the person who knew her, to like calm her down, because she was like fucking irate. Then she goes back to the front of the what's it called, the cashier, not my cashier, the cashier. She comes back in front of me, and she's like, where's your manager? Then my manager comes over, and she was like, where have you been? I fell. I was screaming. I was hollering. No one came to help me. Your employee is being rude. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? She was like, he refused to give me his name. He doesn't have his name tag on. Like, she was literally looking a young nigga up and down to see what I was like like what I was at fault at. Like literally the only thing she could tell me is that I didn't have my name tag on, and she was like, she didn't even tell me his name, and my manager looked at me, and it was like, this is all cap. And like we gave each other that look because me and my manager are cool. Like we gave each other that look like I didn't do any of that shit, and she was like, I know. And my manager said, all right, so what seems to be the problem? She was like, I fell, I hit my elbow, there was a box in the floor and I fell on it, bottles hit me in the head, I had back surgery recently, I'm gonna have to get back surgery again. So her injury, she told us, is that she bruised her elbow, she sprained her ankle, she might have to get surgery again on her back. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's those three things. I can't think of anything else. And she was just yelling at my manager. She was like, you should have been up here. Why does he have any help? Like, why is he up here getting out lines of 5-6 people at a time on it by himself? And I was in my head like, I can get 20 out in like less than 5 minutes, so it ain't shit to me. And everyone's just looking at her because like, why are you here at 10 o'clock just yelling? Because most of them didn't know what's going on. And then she started looking at random people like belligerent as hell. She's like, you saw me fall, right? You saw me fall, right? You're my witness. You're my witness. If you heard me, right? So you're my witness. Because I don't think she knew how witnesses worked, because that means you would have to witness what happened, and no one really witnessed what happened except the cameras. And we don't have access to that, so it is what it is. And everyone was just looking at her like she was crazy. And she looked at my manager, was like, you need to get me an accident report form, because one time I was at I got my car hit in a fender bender and someone hit me in my back, and they hit me in my back, and like, this is not even me like stuttering, this is just how she talks. Like, she talks like a fucking fool. And she was like, and they hit me and I didn't get their information, and I ended up having to pay the whole thing because State Farm didn't, cover it. Because only Tom State Farm covers stuff you don't have their information. They're both with State Farm, and I'll have to get their information for that. And when that happened, my husband cussed me out. And I'm like, you're married? Damn. And she was like, my husband would cuss me out. And my manager was like, we were both jaded as fuck. Like, we could tell she wasn't hurt, because like the way she was describing it, it was like she would be like debilitated, because not only is her back that just had surgery hurt to the point where she may need surgery again, she sprained her ankle. I should have made her look retarded and asked her if it was a high grade or a low grade sprain, but I wasn't thinking at the time. So what happens next is I get the next 2 people out, and it's only me, my manager, the Karen, and one more customer. And I'm down at the other register, and she talks loud, and she was trying to whisper. She was like, that your employee is so rude to me. He wouldn't give me his name or anything, and he needs, just tell the cameras to watch him. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And I was already like just out of it, and so I was like ringing up wrong shit had to be cleared, and I was already having like my end of the day fucking moment. Like, I'm just ready to go home. Like, I worked my hours, so let me go home. I'll see y'all again fucking Friday. No, I don't even work Friday. I'll see y'all niggas again Saturday. Goddamn, like, leave me the fuck alone. So the customer I was checking out left, and she was still there complaining about the same thing. She was either saying that she fell and no one came to get her, comma, my husband will cuss me out, comma, I'm a shitty employee, comma, and that she's in so much pain. And I was behind my manager, and she was like, I sprained my ankle back there, and I just went And my manager had to hit me on my thigh to tell me to stop because I knew it was cap. And let me tell you how I know all her injuries were cap. Let's start with her back. If her back was hurting, she wouldn't be able, no, if her back was so badly in so much bad shape that just had surgery and got injured again, you wouldn't be standing like she was standing straight, like she was standing straight up, but she was also able to bend down on the counter to write whatever she wanted to write out. She was able to, what else was she able to do? She was able to bend over on that table to write, and she was able to bend over where the bag spinner is. So she was able to bend over pretty well. Like, she was pretty mobile. And speaking of mobile, she didn't sprain her ankle either. Like I said before, she literally ran behind the register and ran to the door to the employee office to literally go find my manager and yell at her. And with her elbow, she was waving her arms. She was like holding on to people. She was waving her arms. It's like, and she showed us her elbow. She was like, I have dermatitis. So it's like, so your elbow isn't red or bruised. You just have shitty quality of skin. Man. So, that's that. Well, it's not even that's that. I can't even say that's that because my manager is somewhat of a prideful person. Like, she has pride to herself, and she had to go out there and listen to that woman, like, just talk shit. And let me backtrack a little bit because she said this isn't the first time this has happened before, because she told us this outlandish story that she fell one time and an employee just walked past her and they went out to go smoke a cigarette and someone else had to pick her up, which isn't true, but she said she got someone fired before. And and my manager was like, you know, like, this can get us fired, right? Like, if you're lying and we get fired, like, this is on you. And she was like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want anyone to get fired. I don't want anyone to get in trouble. And then she looked at me while she was saying that, and it's like, all right, bitch. Watch what happens if I lose my job, bro. So, she was just being all irate and shit. I think I still have the videos, like some of the videos I took on my story. If not, you won't see them. But if I do, I'll probably put it around here, right here. Yeah, I'll put it here. But, she made my manager like go take her groceries out and help her out, and she was like to the point, and my manager was like, she had to defend my character. Like, she was like, she still had my name in her mouth, and she had to my manager had to literally defend my character. That, you know, like, you're just being an asshole, leave the nigga alone. She didn't say that, but, you know, she just, you know, defending the young nigga's character. And she came back in, she was like, that's the hardest thing I ever had to do, because she had to swallow her pride and just help this woman out. And she was like worried that we were going to get fired or that we were going to get in trouble. There was going to be some consequences on us that she wouldn't get because, like, we called her bluff. Even my manager called her bluff. She got her to admit that she didn't even yell. My manager told me that what she told her was like he got her to like give herself up by like asking other questions about what happened. And then she was like, well, I didn't yell that loud. And she made it seem like she yelled bloody fucking murder, bro. Shit, man. She was like, I yelled, I screamed, I hollered. But it just comes to find out that she didn't even fucking yell. And she low-key lied about the whole thing. In my head, she lied. She didn't admit to lying about what happened. But in my head, I know she lied. I play sports. I know what it's like to sprain your ankle, low grade, high grade, anything you do to your ankle, twist it, sprain it, you're not walking right. You're not going to be able to run like she did behind the register. And if your back was hurt, my mom has had back surgery before. She literally was like in bed, could barely move for like a month. So I understand, like, you know, I just had back surgery, but if you And if you re-aggravated whatever happened in your back, we would have to carry you. You would literally have to help you off the floor because you couldn't put pressure on your core, or you couldn't walk. So we would literally have to like help you up. So she just capped about all her injuries, and I was just upset. Like when she left, I just sat there and I was pissed because I was like, if I lose my job over this shit, man, I will probably spaz the fuck out, because I didn't do anything wrong. My manager didn't do anything wrong. We literally were doing her job. I mean, we were literally doing our jobs. But most of the time, you know, these big companies, they side with the customer so they don't like have to go into a lawsuit and shit like that. So that's what I was worried about. But I got a text this morning from my from my manager from that night before, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay? How you doing?" Our boss I told the boss what happened, and he was like, "That shit was all cap. So we're good." And I was like, I hope so. And it's not often that bosses of like chain retailers stand up for the employee, but when it happens, it's a good W. But that's pretty much my story on the Karen experience, because I've had people come in and bitch and complain, but I've never had that before. Like, that shit was wild. Like, she was violent. Well, she was trying to act violent. She was fucking being unruly. She was being rude. She was being everything that she said I was. But that's the video. Actually, not yet. Probably around this point, I'm gonna put the chicken scratch she wrote down, like, at the end of the video somewhere. It should come up about like now. And just tell me this isn't like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, this shit is actually terrible. Like, you just can't be above the age of 12 and still write like this. But that's my Karen story, man. It's a long video, and if you made it to the end, thank you for hearing me bitch and moan about my job, because goddamn, it makes you want to fucking commit. But that's the end of the video. Like and subscribe, all that good shit. I'll see y'all niggas later, man. Y'all take it easy. Peace.